When I started this account, I had this image in my head that I wanted to capture my journey of raising a brilliant family dog. In my mind, that meant a dog that was a joy to be around, who knew how to be with kids, who could go everywhere with the family. I talked a lot about that around being able to take my dog anywhere. And I think a big reason why I haven't been posting in the last few months is because I feel like I've failed. And I've thought a lot about this account and where I go from here because it's so hard to kind of face the failure because I thought I was doing everything right. Whenever I spoke to any dog trainers, they were like, "Oh my God, you're doing amazing. This is exactly what we tell dog parents to do." And I could bend my brain into knots trying to figure out how we got here and where it went so wrong. But we are where we are. And so I'm going to do my best to try and raise awareness of our situation and what I think maybe went wrong and things I wish I'd done differently. But let's take a step back. So where are we at with Vigo right now? Vigo is a very happy, lovely, wonderful dog. He's a brilliant family dog. He's now kind of approaching adulthood. He's about to turn 2 years old. And we couldn't have asked for a more wonderful soul to be part of our family. He's so gentle. We have a son now who's about to turn 9 months old. He's so sweet with my son. He's friendly. He's playful. But there's a big but. His phobia of the sound of big vehicles has become so debilitating that he can't go outside during the day. This is not something that I've ever heard of before, to the extent that we're experiencing it. And even though I've spoken briefly about this and tried to connect people who are going through this, I have not been able to find someone who has actually walked this path. I've heard of people who've talked about it vaguely or tried to give their opinions, but I haven't really met anyone or spoken with anyone who's been where we've been. So in case you're in this boat, you're not alone. Although I think this boat is a pretty unusual boat. People ask all the time if he's a rescue. They think something must have happened to him for him to be the way he is. But he just, if he's outside during the day, he freaks out. He hears things that we can't hear, or a bus will drive by or a truck will drive by. He freaks out. And it's really heartbreaking because when I imagined having Vigo as an adult, I imagined me with a child with a stroller and walking my baby and my dog 2 to 3 times a day, taking my dog with me everywhere. And the reality is we can take Vigo to very few places. And that said, I think he's really lucky to have us because we really go out of our way to try and give him a fulfilled life as much as we can, given that he does not like to go outside. So for example, we will drive to the park that is in the middle of nowhere so that he gets a little bit of outdoor time every week, sometimes multiple times a week. Do all these things to try and give him a happy, fulfilled life. But he spends most of his time indoors to a point that I know is not healthy. So for example, he will not go outside to pee during the day. I have to pick him up and carry him outside. He will pee and then he will run back inside. And I feel like we've tried everything. I feel like we have tried everything. At this point, I'm considering a pet psychic. Like that's how much I feel like we've exhausted our options. And we're kind of at peace with the fact that this is very likely just going to be our life with him. It's going to be him staying inside most of the day, us walking him in the evenings for a short walk, because by 8 or 9 o'clock, especially if I'm home alone, I can't even walk him because I've got my son sleeping in the house. So just doing our best to try and meet his needs in ways that suit him. When I wrote to our breeder, she recommended forcing him to walk and flooding him. And this was something that we'd hired a trainer, an in-person trainer to come. And she'd also echoed the sentiment of, well, if nothing else works, you can try flooding him. And I'd reached such an end to my tether that I was like, I will try anything. I don't agree with this in principle, but let's see how it goes. And I forced him to walk. And I only realized it maybe 2 days later when he was licking his paws a lot, but his paw pads were peeling. And after that, I thought, I can't keep doing this to him. He's clearly miserable. So as I said, we now do what we can to try and meet his needs. I'm going to be talking more around how I think we got here, what I wish I'd known, and what we're doing to try to help. But to be honest, at this point, we're now more in a maintenance mode and at peace with the fact that this might just be our life with him versus proactively trying to resolve it anymore, because I think we spent a lot of money trying to fix it. We spent a lot of time trying to fix it. And again, nothing has really worked. There's a behavioral veterinarian that I'm hoping to be able to work with in the new year. I got in touch with her like a month or 2 ago and she was on holiday. But in her kind of materials that she sends you, she says that things like this never resolve, that if a phobia exists, it will never go away. You can just try and find ways to kind of make it more livable. So I don't know where we're going to end up, but what sparked me wanting to make this video is that someone commented on one of my old videos from back in June of last year when Vigo was maybe 4 or 5 months old and I was talking about his second fear period. She was asking, did this fix? What did you do? And watching that video back now, I can see early signs of where we are today. And there's just so much that I wish I'd known and I wish I'd done differently instead of thinking it's a fear period, it's fine, because it wasn't fine and it's not fine. And again, like I'm at peace with it. We love him. We really do everything we can to offer him a fulfilled life. but I know his life would be so much richer if he didn't have this phobia. So anyway, I'm sorry I don't have a happier update. I really wish I did. I know a lot of people care about Vigo. You watched him growing up, and I know that we kind of disappeared off the radar for a while. And I don't know how much I'll be back on the radar with regards to this. It's really hard to talk about. Again, I really feel like something of a failure. And I feel like, who am I to be talking to anyone about dogs? But again, I'll be sharing how I think we got here, what I wish I'd done differently. Watch this space, more videos to come.